Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to Nina Bazemore. I'm so glad that you're here. I know that you can tell by the title that I'm going to be sharing with you my experience with starting a medical billing service, a medical billing and coding service 30 plus years ago. And even though it's been 30 plus years, nothing really has changed. Not much has changed, I should say, as it relates to the steps that we go through to start a medical billing and/or medical billing and coding service. However, there is more technology, and so that's probably the biggest difference that I've noticed. I no longer have a medical billing and coding service. However, I wanted to share with anyone who is thinking about starting this type of a service and/or becoming an independent contractor. So I just want to give you a few pointers. As you know, I'm always encouraging you to do your own research. Medical billing and coding is still in high demand. It's $1 billion industry. And because of what's been going on the last couple of years, there's even more of a demand for the experienced medical billers, the experienced medical coders. And I'm going to just give you, again, as I've shared, some of the steps that you can go through, and you determine whether or not the service, which would be your medical billing service / business, or becoming an independent contractor is better for you. It would depend on your income goals. It also just depends on the time you want to put into the business and just some other factors that's going to that will help you to determine whether or not you're going to do this solo or if you're going to actually expand into a full service and offer not just billing and coding, but other types of healthcare add-on services that a medical practice would benefit from. So I'm going to focus, though, more on the business because mine was more of a business. Again, I'm no longer in business. This was 30 plus years ago. I'm going to focus on the business and just, again, encourage you to do some of your research, but much of what I'm going to share with you, a great majority of it applies to both. So the first thing you want to do, of course, is to make sure that you have the skills that are necessary for medical billing and or coding service. When I started out, I was currently employed. I had worked for solo physician practices as well as for hospitals. I studied nursing and medical terminology, anatomy and physiology. I just had a great background in healthcare. I've always been interested in healthcare, so it was pretty easy for me to transition into the business side of it. But you want to make sure that you have the skills and any credentials that are necessary. I was one of the first in the state that I live in to become a certified procedural coder. And so I was certified by one of the, I think it's actually the world's largest healthcare training and credentialing organization. They started around 1988. So as I said, I was one of the first, especially in my state, to be certified. That too made it a little easier for me because there was not much competition in the state where I lived. So you want to have the skills, you want to have the credentials, you're going to decide whether or not you want to have a degree, whether or not you want to be certified. You're going to need to think about whether or not your state is going to require a license, any type of insurance that you may need, any type of bonding. You also want to have a name, and you need to search the database to make sure that the name that you're interested in is available. And then you register if you're becoming a business or service. You register with the federal government, getting your EIN number, and you register with your state, and you register with any other entities that are required. You also want to determine whether or not you are going to hire an accountant for tax purposes, tax forms, and any other forms that are necessary for you to complete. You're going to determine whether or not you need to hire a lawyer for contracts, because you're going to need contracts. I was blessed of one of my high school acquaintances became an attorney, and she was able to write up a contract for me without charging, so that was a blessing. Also, the accountant that we used was referred by a family friend. This family friend was also an attorney, so again, I was blessed with that. So just determine whether or not you're going to need these type of services as well. You're going to have to determine the location, meaning are you going to work from home or are you going to work from an office? With technology, it's so much easier now to work from home. I started out working from home. We had an extra bedroom in our home, and I set that up as an office, and I worked from home for a while. And then as the business grew, I was able to move out of the home office into a traditional office. And also at that time, we were looking at hiring employees, so I knew that I would need that office space. Again, technology allows for so much flexibility. So as I said, this was 30 plus years ago, and you just do your research and determine what works best for you. You also want to consider your profit margins. Of course, in your home, it's a little different than renting office space and or leasing office space. Also, when you start adding employees, that's going to eat into your profit as well. So all of these things are going to make a difference as to whether or not you're going to remain solo, independent contractor versus a business. The next thing you want to do is, of course, you need a marketing plan. You need a business plan and or marketing plan. How are you going to get clients? Again, as I said, I was really blessed. I was already working for a physician, and she was able to become my first client. So that worked out really well for me. She was already familiar with me, and that just really worked out well. So you may be currently employed, and you may decide to do this as additional income while you remain employed, or you may decide that you're just going to give up the employment that you currently have and just start your service, start becoming that independent contractor, and you're just going to go ahead and start. So that's one way that you get clients, but that's just one client perhaps. Probably though, during your time as an employee, you've met with and you're familiar with, acquainted with other physicians. So those physicians that you have become acquainted with over the years, you can always reach out to them. Of course, word of mouth is excellent, but I also needed to do some cold calling, so I did that to get additional clients, and that worked out really well. That means though that you're going to need marketing materials such as brochures, business cards. You may want a vehicle sign. I actually had a special license plate on my car, the acronym of my business. You're going to want some accessories, websites, extremely helpful as well. As you are thinking about setting up your business, even as an independent contractor, you're going to have to think about equipment, supplies, the materials. So you're going to need a computer, that goes without saying. You're going to need the software, that goes without saying. You're going to need to partner with a clearinghouse, especially if you're going to be providing the medical billing. You're going to need coding books. So if you're providing coding services, I provided both medical billing as well as medical coding services, but you may decide that you're just going to provide medical billing only. So then, of course, you may, or the medical coding book still might be helpful for you, even if you're just providing the medical billing services. So you're going to also need to have some knowledge of, as I said earlier, of anatomy and physiology, medical terminology, and as I said earlier, making sure that you have those credentials, just because now it's so much more competitive, and so you want to have that extra edge and that extra advantage with your credentialing, especially if you are credentialed by a very well-known organization that will help you and give your potential clients a little bit more of a comfort level with your knowledge. you're going to have to think about the fees that you're going to charge for your services. And so, as I said, because this is something that I started 30 plus years ago, I'm not going to get into the specifics as it relates to fees, because of course we know so much has changed over 3 decades, 30 years, 30 plus years. Research for yourself. It's easy to Google and to get an idea of what other billing services or independent contractors are charging for their services, depending on the services that you offer. But there are different types of clients, and so your fees will be based on that as well. There are physician practices, hospitals, nursing homes, labs, etc. I was able to expand so that we were not only offering medical billing, medical coding, but we also offered medical staffing. So we had contracts with hospitals, and we would provide them with medical staffing. So all of these are going to be factors in the fees that you're going to be charging for your services. You probably want to determine how much you want to earn per month. And once you determine how much you want to earn per month and how much you're charging, you'll be able to do the math and get a gauge for how much you need to, how many clients you need, etc., to reach the goal of what you're trying to earn per month. So for example, let's just say that you have 5 clients, and let's say that each client you are earning approximately $1,500 per month. And with these 5 clients, $1,500 per month or so you're around about $90,000 per year. You may be charging a little bit more to get to that $100,000 if $100,000 per year is your goal. So instead of $1,500 a month, it may be just a tad bit more. But you decide. You'll look at as I said, what you would like to earn for the year, and then you do the math, determine how many clients you need. So that's going to vary again based on the services that you're offering. The other thing you need to look at is the cost of starting up your business. So if you don't already have a computer, or if you don't have a computer that's going to be able to handle what you are projecting to do, then you may need a new computer. This software is going to be another expense for you. Partnering with that clearinghouse is going to be another expense. So you need to look at the expenses that you're going to have, add those up to get an idea of the cost of starting this business. Even if you start out as an independent contractor, there are going to be some fees, fees for your training perhaps. We're always going to need that computer and the software and the clearinghouse. So just add up what you're going to need, and also research grants. Researching grants for businesses. That's something that may help you as well with the financing you're going to need to start your business, or to start as an independent contractor. So I just wanted to share some of this with you. Of course, I am available if you want to reach out to me with specific questions. I'm just giving you just some very basics as it relates to starting a business and what I personally did approximately 30 years ago, not telling you what you need to do, and of course knowing that some things have changed, but for the most part, as I said, things have remained the same. So I'm cheering for you. I'm believing that you can do it if you set your mind to it. And if you have any questions, you can leave a question in the comments. It's good to leave questions in the comments, because if someone else sees your question and they have experience, I don't have to be the one that answers or responds to the comment. Not to say that I won't, but someone else may have some more up-to-date information, or just they may want to share their experience with you. So we hope that within those of you who are listening, that there's a community that's formed, and as you see someone reaching out with a question, just going ahead and just sharing with them what's on your heart, and encouraging someone else and helping someone else. So God bless you all. Thank you for being here. My next video, I'm going to continue continue on with how to start businesses. I believe also, because I did start a health and fitness business as well, and there's some other things, because we believe in multiple streams of income. So I want to take some time and focus on that with the next couple or so videos that I present to you. So you look forward to that. If you'll subscribe to the channel, which is free, and click on the notifications button, every time I upload a new video, you should be notified. If not, just come back to the channel from time to time to see if there are any new uploads for you. Share, please share, and as I said before, comment. Okay, God bless you. Until next time, this is Nina Bazemore.